Hours after a speeding car was involved in a wild crash that injured a mother and her 2 children, 10 News uncovered a history of problems with that same stretch of road.
And we brought you live pictures from the scene in La Jolla at midday. You can see here just a trail of debris leading up to the car behind the crash. 10 News reporter Steve Fiorina is joining us now with new information. It's frightening, Steve.
It was very frightening for a lot of people out here. 100 miles an hour plus coming down this roadway, took out 2 cars, also a light pole and a tree. Look at the gash in the yard over here, wound up on the side here, pinned inside. Miraculously, nobody died in this. A Mercedes minivan and a BMW SUV on their sides, with another small Mercedes banged up halfway between them. Sky 10 showing us the debris field of a spectacular crash.
And I heard this tremendous noise, and I turned around, and this guy was driving this car at such an unbelievable speed.
The BMW jumped the center median into eastbound traffic, where it collided with a slate gray Mercedes minivan carrying a mother and her children.
He knocks her for a wheel, continues on, then he starts rolling, takes the car out in a driveway, and then he takes a palm tree out, hits a post, the electric lamp went, and then he landed up in. They had terrible trouble getting him out.
Power lines down. It was called a very difficult and dangerous extrication. Firefighters cut through the roof of the BMW, but needed to attack from the other side of the car as well.
Did have to actually cut through the floor of the BMW to get the patient's foot disentangled from the wreckage and eventually pull the patient out.
The mother and daughters in the minivan were freed by several workmen in the neighborhood. They were shaken up, but apparently not too seriously hurt.
Scared stiff, can you imagine? You're going up the hill with Mommy. Thank goodness Mommy had him strapped in. You're going up the hill and suddenly you're upside down. Scary.
So is this. Our 10 News camera shows a box of whippets in the BMW and green canisters of the nitrous oxide in the street, which when inhaled cause a euphoric high. Neighbors complain of frequent accidents. Dave Abrams had a truck land in his yard last year
and ended up right over here under this tree. This is a picture of that upside down in the middle of the night, and this is debris that kind of came out of the truck that I picked up off the grass.
Now the city is aware and has been doing some things. They've narrowed this. Used to be 2 lanes, it's now 1. You can see the markings there. They say that has had an impact. They're also looking at some of those electronic signals that tell you to slow down as you're coming through. Now as for the driver and the evidence of those inhalers, that's cause for an investigation of DUI. Live in La Jolla, Steve Fiorina, 10 News.
Here's a closer look at how this crash happened. Witnesses say the driver of the BMW was speeding down Nautilus Street here. This is when he hit the minivan carrying the mother and the 2 children. That's at the corner of Nautilus and Avenida de Mañana. The BMW then continued down to careen into this Mercedes here in the driveway before continuing down, taking out trees and power lines before coming to a stop here on its side. That's at the corner of Nautilus and Avenida de Reina.